Another guest visits Kraken's garage. Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. Today at Kraken's garage, we're going to do another rider interview and a fellow YouTuber from BogeyBiker. Please say hello to him.
Howdy, folks.
He is the latest thing on fire on YouTube. He started his channel recently, and you just passed up, what, 4,000 subs?
4,000 subs, yeah.
Yeah, gained almost 1,000 subs in the last month. He is absolutely blowing up. I've given him a previous shout out, but I'll have his information linked down below if you'd like to check out his content. He does a killer job, from my opinion, that serves up a down-home, just good vibe of bikers getting together and what we do. So, welcome to Virginia. What brings you to Virginia, Joe?
Well, first of all, being at Casa de Kraken in Kraken's garage is like a bucket list thing for me and probably all motorcycle YouTubers. So I'm just happy to be here. I have a work conference with my real job in Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia every year. And it's a long story how I got here this time, but I was in Williamsburg. Eric's channel, as you all know, is about helping other YouTubers. And he gave me a shout out early on in my YouTube journey, and I am very grateful for that. And it was always my goal to come here and thank him and shake his hand in person and tell him thank you for that, because this whole YouTube thing is hard, and not a lot of other YouTubers are as giving about that kind of stuff. And Eric is exactly who he portrays on the camera, by the way.
Minus the cussing.
Minus the cussing. And I was going to be here, and he invited me to Casa de Kraken here, and I was able to take some time away this afternoon and come visit. And it's been a delightful afternoon, and I'm happy that I did. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Well, with all my interviews, I want to kind of hear about their story. And first of all, where do you reside?
I live in Central Texas, around the town of Waco. We live in a small town, kind of between Dallas and Austin.
Okay.
The heart of Texas, we call it.
Okay, and your riding season in that area of Texas is from when to when?
Is from now till a year from now. We ride year round. There are very few days that we get.
Instead of snow days, do you have hot days where you're
yes.
like, heck to the no, I'm not riding?
Yes, it's from now till mid-September is kind of a living hell with the heat. But we still ride. But yeah, it's I grew up in it, so a lot of people want to get away from the winter and the snow. I'm looking for a place to go in the summer to get away from the Texas heat. But we ride year round. There'll be a handful of days throughout the year that we get snow and ice occasionally, but we ride year round.
Gotcha. Tell me about the first bike you ever rode in your life.
So,
what got you into it?
Well, I'm a little bit different than probably most of you in that I've only been riding street bikes, motorcycles for 2.5 years. I rode some dirt bikes when I was young. Friends had, but
that counts.
But this is, I would say I've been obsessed with motorcycles my whole life. I've always wanted them. All the biker build-offs in the early 2000s when I was in my 20s. I've always wanted a motorcycle, but I don't know if I've been too chicken or I've always made it an excuse. I didn't grow up in a motorcycle family, so motorcycles were dangerous. But I've always lusted after these motorcycles, but I just always made an excuse. I almost bought a Honda Shadow when my kids were very young in the early 2000s, and I talked myself out of it. So I only recently started riding. I bought a 2016 Road King that I still own, and
it's for sale, people.
Yeah, well, I had it for sale, and I about decided to take it off the market, and I'm trying to turn it in. I'm calling it a big dude Dyna, because I look ridiculous on anything smaller than kind of a big touring bike. So,
okay.
So I have a Road King, and that was my first bike. And I'll tell you, I have a 600-foot gravel driveway that after I got the motorcycle, I had to get my brother to go pick it up for me, which is kind of shameful too. But
600-foot gravel driveway.
So it took me, the first time I finally convinced myself to get on it, I was so scared. I mean, that's just the truth. And it took me 20 minutes to get out of my driveway. I got to the end of my driveway, I'm like, man, what are you doing? You're going to kill yourself. And I rode it around the block, made it home. The next day I went a little further, and then about 3 days into it, I realized this is not that hard, and it's fun as hell. So the rest is history.
There's not a person on God's green earth that hasn't felt that way when they first started riding.
Yeah.
It's like, this is going to hurt if it goes wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
as a seasoned rider, I envy you for what it's
Yeah.
worth, because I've been there and done that so many times. For you, it's all new horizons.
All new, yeah.
And that's exciting
Yes.
from my perspective for what it's worth. So soak it up and enjoy those bonds you make with people and the bonds with yourself of accomplishing riding.
Yeah,
That's pretty freaking cool.
I try not to have any regrets in life, but I only wish that I would have started this sooner, because I'm having the time of my life.
So my next question is, you started a YouTube channel. What made you decide to do that as a new rider?
I have an identical twin brother that started riding.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
There's two of you?
Yeah, there's
Get
two
the
of
hell
us.
out of my house.
Yeah, I know. I've got that a lot.
I'm poking fun.
Yeah. So my brother had started riding about a year
Mm-hmm.
before me, and he was riding with some of our friends. Man, I can't believe he did that. You know, we were told motorcycles are dangerous. So anyway, I decided that I was going to do this. So I bought a bike, and I really wanted to. When you get to be around 50 years old, as a lot of you may know, you got friends that are dying, people your age that are dying, and really that's the reason I decided to do it, was that I could die in this recliner of a heart attack just as fast as I could on this bike. I'm going to be safe. I'm much more mature than I was when I was younger, and so I wanted to document these adventures and share them. I had no dreams of being this motorcycle YouTuber, but there's no way to really share video. I mean, the files are too big. You can't just film a 30-minute, 20-minute video and send it to people because it's too much. So you can do that with a YouTube link. So I really started it to share with family and friends. But almost immediately I started getting some attention, and people were liking what we were doing. And I'm kind of a competitive person. I'm like, man, I can do this. And so I just kind of got some momentum, and yeah, again, the rest is history. It's just like all of a sudden you get 100 subscribers, and man, that's a big deal. You get your first 100 subscribers, like 100 people want to watch what I'm doing, and then you get 500, and you get 1,000, and then all the stuff that goes along with it, as you know.
Your roots are starting to get really set in the YouTube moto community. And I want to remind you that I tell most moto channels on YouTube, in the United States, only 3% of the population ride bikes.
Yeah.
How many YouTube channels are there for motorcycles on YouTube?
Yeah.
Thousands upon thousands. How many are Harley? Thousands upon thousands. So to stand out and fight for that 3% that has already been cut to pieces by thousands of channels is a tough road to hoe.
Yeah.
That you and I are both walking on. And you've done a phenomenal job with your growth and development, and I can't reiterate that enough. Folks, you need to go by and just check out an episode of BogeyBiker. So I cannot recommend it enough. So since you started riding in 2.5 years, have you kind of adopted a whole bunch of new friends that you never would have registered, or are they old friends that always rode all along, or a mix of both?
You know, we ride.
It's a good question.
We ride with we call ourselves the Rusty Bolts, and it's not like we're a motorcycle club or anything, but we just call ourselves the Rusty Bolts because we're a bunch of old men that limp around, and so a lot of the guys are, like I said, my brother is a current serving fireman. A lot of the guys are older guys that were firemen with him. Some of them I knew, had met a little bit. Some of them I've known my whole life, but not really known. You know somebody, and these guys are a little bit older, so we've known them, but you weren't really friends with them. But so it's a combination of my brother and a couple friends that I've known, that I've had my whole life, and then a couple of acquaintances that we've known. But knowing each other and going on these motorcycle trips, we've become bonded by this whole thing. And they've all become great friends, and we don't have any drama. We share this motorcycle passion, and we're just having a great time. We ride all over Texas. We ride all over the surrounding states. We've done some long trips out of state, and yeah, so we've developed as I've gotten older, as I think a lot of people, your friends list gets much shorter or much smaller, but it's really good friends that we share a common passion, and we just love doing motorcycle stuff.
My next question is, How did you come up with the name BogeyBiker for your channel?
Yeah, so I grew up as a golfer, and if you're a bad golfer, if you're a bogey golfer, you're not a very good golfer. So when I was taking the motorcycle safety class at Harley-Davidson, we're riding all morning, and we take a break, and some of us are standing around and we're talking about golf. And we're just having a conversation. We get done, going back to our bikes, and a guy walks up to me and says, "Well, it sounds like you're a pretty good golfer." I said, "No, I'm just an average golfer." And he said, "Well, are you better than a bogey golfer?" I said, "Yeah, I'm better than a bogey golfer." I said, "I'm just trying to be a bogey biker." And it literally ding, 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 ding. Like that's, you know, there's so many channels. We've talked about this that have Harley this and Harley that, which is great. But I wanted something that different. So I searched YouTube, and it didn't take me very long to realize there's no other motorcycle guy referencing golf that I can find.
That's a really bright that you
yeah.
did that. It really is. So
Yeah.
you don't get lost in a sea of other channels
Right.
like named.
Right. Yeah.
You know. So you just bought a brand new 2024 Road Glide.
2025.
2025, is it
Yep.
the ST or?
No, this year they or in 24 they took away those STs and specials. Like it's just a Road Glide. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yep. Just a Road Glide in brilliant red.
Brilliant Red. How are you enjoying that new bike?
I love it. I love it. I see. I put Tab Performance slip-ons on it. I just put the Thrash and Risers.
Huge
and,
fan of Tab Performance.
Yeah.
That's on both
Sounds
of my
good.
Harleys.
Yeah. Oh, is it okay?
His
Yeah.
wife, the owner, is a veteran.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Even better.
And they started that business.
Okay. So just put Thrash and Risers and T-bars on it, which is something different, but I really like the feel of that. I've got a Saddleman seat, and I put the flat out bars. So I've done some stuff. I'm a normal person. I'm not trying to build a performance bagger and all that stuff. You know, but it's fun just doing little stuff, except my bank account doesn't think it's all that fun. So just doing it a little at a time, and I incorporate some of that stuff into the channel. I try to do some most of my channel is entertainment. I call it a moto vlog docu-comedy, where it's a combination of $1 Million Bogan, Thrashing Supply, and the movie Wild Hogs. That's kind of the way I look at it. So
That's a good description.
yeah,
It really is.
yeah. So
So what's the best ride you've taken on any of your bikes?
you know, as far as the road goes, there is the most famous road in Texas, roads, is called the Twisted Sisters. And the three Twisted Sisters, and it's 3 roads down in the Texas Hill Country. But my favorite road is down by Big Bend National Park. Most Texans have never been out to that area of Texas. Mm-hmm. It's on the way to El Paso, and then you go south. And if you hit the Rio Grande River in Mexico, then you've gone about a mile too far. And it's called River Road, and it runs right along the Rio Grande. And so that's the best road that I've ever ridden. Now, as far as ride goes, I would have to say Sturgis. Me, my buddy Warren, my buddy John, and a friend of mine named Rod. He met us there from Ohio, but we rode to Sturgis from Texas, and I did a whole 7 or 8 part video. I videoed every day, and as far as a memorable trip, that would have to be the most memorable trip that I've taken so far. Yeah.
And do you have hopes or dreams to take a trip somewhere, anywhere in the world that you want to go?
Yeah,
on your,
my bucket list would be to ride to Alaska and back.
to Alaska.
Yeah.
Okay. Thomas Ajodia, PurpleOnThree, and PSP Tommy G just did that last year, and they had a great trip. They really did.
I would love to be able to do that. Unfortunately, I've got a real job still, and so it's difficult to find time for all this stuff, but that's on my list, and I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm tired of talking about doing stuff, and I like to start doing stuff, so I'm going to make every effort to try to get that done.
Excellent.
At some point. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, like I said, your channel is blowing up, and did you expect to have this much traction when you started your channel?
No, I remember when I first started watching YouTube and motorcycle people, you know, I would watch pull up a channel and say, man, they've only got 3,000 subscribers. Must not be a very good channel. I had no clue about how difficult it is to get people to hit that subscribe button. You know, I watched a lot of YouTube videos before I did this, and I didn't subscribe to any of them. I didn't even like it. I just watched the videos and kind of moved on. But once I started, I quickly realized, man, this is not easy. So, I mean, there was a point when you first start where you don't think anybody's going to subscribe, and how do you do all this? So I never had any expectations of having 4,000 subscribers after almost 2 years. I'm not sure what I expected. I didn't really have a goal that says I want to be YouTube motorcycle famous. I didn't have any of that. I really just started just to try to share the trips and make the videos as good as I could possibly make. But I had no expectation that I would now be responding to fan emails and messages and comments almost on a daily basis, and interacting and meeting people like you who live halfway across the country because of motorcycles and because of YouTube. I didn't understand this side of it, and it's the best part of it. I've met people, and people have come down to visit us like I'm doing to you today, and we try to treat them with the best hospitality we can.
So overall, you're pleased with your growth and development on the channel
Yeah.
in such a short period of time.
I am. You know, some days it gets frustrating. I can make what I think is. I've made some videos where I thought, when I get done editing this, man, this is good. This is going to be the one that's going to shoot me into fame and fortune. Which I'm joking about that, and it hardly gets any views or whatever. And you're just like, really, come on. And so there's a lot of frustrating parts to YouTube, but I've tried to adhere to the policy that just make the best video you can and don't look at all the analytics and all the data. And I tell you that, and sometimes I sound like I got Tourette syndrome cussing because it doesn't get the kind of views, but I try to not to let it bother me so much, because it really doesn't matter. In the big scheme of things, it doesn't matter. You've given me the advice to keep doing what I'm doing. Slow and easy wins the race. And so I'm enjoying the process, and I really have done a better job over the last 6 months of just not letting it bother me.
My gentle advice is stay in your lane, put your blinders on, don't pay attention to other content creators, and do what you do and just speak from your heart.
Yeah.
There's so much fertilizer in the moto community.
Fertilizer, that's good.
That I can't shake a stick at all of it, you know.
Yeah.
So just I said it when I gave you a shout out when you first started. Stay in your lane and do what you're doing. You're doing great.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So that about wraps it up for today on our interview of Jack of BogeyBiker. I hope you good folks go by and check him out and give him a look. And if you do, like and subscribe to him, please let him know that Kraken sent you. And I thank you for joining us today.
It's truly my pleasure. And thank you for everything you do for me and other YouTubers.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yep.
And any last words you would want to tell the world out there today?
Yeah, no. I'd invite you to come check out my channel. I mean, I'm on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all that stuff, but my main focus is YouTube, and we're just normal country people doing motorcycle stuff. We ride to some cool places with what I think is some cool people, and try to go on some cool rides, and we have a good time. We make fun of ourselves. We don't take ourselves too seriously, and my group of guys, we're kind of just normal folks. We're the same on camera as off, and we just have a good time together, and we're having the time of our life. And if you want to come check it out, I would appreciate it, and then I hope to not disappoint.
Sounds good. You ready for my awesome outro that's patented?
I am.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you want to see more in the future, hit that subscribe button somewhere down there in the corner. And remember, folks, go riding because it's good for you, and I'll see you in the next one.